We come from the stars, and that's who we are. We are voices. There's nothing to fear. Explode in your rear. Feel our voices.
Hey, good looking, we're back to pick you up later. We're Voice of the Republic, and I'm Ed.
This is Carl.
That's a really dated reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's so dated it even went over my head. So.
Yeah. YOLO. And we're back.
So I meant to mention this last episode, especially when we started talking about Greedo. But Jim Goff over on the Facebook page shared something. Apparently, Harrison Ford did a AMA and Ask Me Anything on Reddit over the weekend. And one of the questions was, "Hi, Mr. Ford. I think we would all like to know who shot first, Han Solo or Greedo?" And the official answer from the man, the myth, the legend, Harrison Ford was, "I don't know and I don't care, period." And someone actually even replied to that, "Classic Han."
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, but I could just see like Harrison Ford just being like, I am so above this shit.
Right.
It's like I really don't care. So that's the official word from Harrison Ford. Okay.
It reminds me of the bit on Saturday Night Live where they had Shatner on.
Mm-hmm.
This is brilliant, and he in real life he famously lashed out at fans at a convention because they were just hitting him with inane questions and he just freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
So the skit was him at a convention and they just kept asking him dumb questions, like, so in episode 232 where you are in the captain's quarters and you open the safe, it's kind of a running bet between my friends and it's like Kevin Nealon with like Spock ears on.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of a bet I have going with my friends. I say the combination is 26-32-0. They say it's 26-14-0. As the captain, what is the official combination? And it was stupid shit like that. And he's like, what's wrong with you? You losers! Get yourself lives. This isn't the way to live. Live and die by combinations of safes. Go get jobs. Move out of your parents' houses. Live. And they're all just like so bummed out, and he felt so bad. He's like, I was just testing you, and he like flashes the symbol or something, and they're like, yeah! Just freak out on him. I don't know.
Well, it just always surprised me when people get that, because I was doing a lot of research for the Trace Ballou episode, and I was watching these Q&As, and people would be like, well, back on Season 3, Episode 1, Cave Dwellers, you made a joke about 15 minutes in, and you did, and people would ask them, like, specifically about, like, what inspired that joke? I was like, Jesus Christ, that was, like, back in, like, the 90s. It's like, there's no way that he remembers, unless it's, like, the funniest joke he ever wrote. Like,
right.
There's no way that he remembers what inspired a specific one joke, let alone just the fact that it was said by Crow doesn't mean that he's the one that wrote it anyway. It's like, so he might not even have been in the room when it was written. It's just like,
yeah,
people ask these crazy-ass questions, and I understand that you get curious and everything, but these people, they lived it. It's like they don't have to obsess over the details because they're done with it. Like, it's on film, it's done. They've moved on. So. And
that's their job. And it's like asking, the guy that created Google, like, what inspired your line of code? Line 232. Again, it's your job. And after talking to Trace and hearing about the rigorous schedule of the show that they did for years and years and years and years, it's like a 7-day-a-week job.
Yeah.
Time for that shit. They probably don't have time to be like, dude, let's watch that again. That was great. When he touches the dude's nose on screen, no, you just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So,
people.
Yeah, people be crazy. Fans be crazy.
People be tripping.
That's why they call them fanatics. So.
Totally. Well, you may have guessed we're kind of fanatical around here. Some of us like a little bit of Star Wars time to time. But yeah, moving on. We are here talking about the worst of the EU, the expanded universe of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my I got my number one right here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't just draw a big circle around all of it, and then like a smaller circle excluding the Republic Commando, but only like a half circle because sometimes even it gets a little EU-ish. But you know.
Yeah. Well, even
Yeah.
a trilogy, one can argue. You know, it's not all perfect. It's fine.
Yeah.
Ewoks. But I made my peace with the Ewoks. It's fine. My number one pet peeve regarding expanded universe. This is gonna break some hearts. Boba Fett.
Hmm.
Boba Fett to me. All right. When Boba Fett, the mysterious, infamous bounty hunter, flew screaming like a bitch into the Sarlacc's Maw in Return of the Jedi. You know, we were all like, oh, but he's Boba Fett. He's the best. He captured Han Solo. He's the guy that stood up to Darth Vader. How can this happen? But you know, when you really think about it, he's just kind of like the cool guy covered in weapons. But that's it. That's all he really had going for him. You know, he didn't say much. He didn't really do much. He didn't capture Han Solo. He tracked him, hiding in garbage, mind you. He tracked him. He just happened to be hiding in garbage. So he's probably picking. He's picking out a better ship.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody knows I fly this ship. Oh, Solo. Oh. So he was lucky.
Hey, you guys gonna eat that? You got Han Solo.
Yeah, he's looking for food. So he tracks Solo to Cloud City. He then informs the Empire, like a bitch. He doesn't actually capture him on his own. Instead, there's like this elaborate dinner scene, and then they freeze him, and then I guess he gets paid for the capture, but he doesn't really have much to do about it. So the next scene, we see him standing around Jabba's place. What? Waiting to go on a job? Certainly not there for the music and entertainment, because what the fuck, really? It's like waiting for like a third-tier, you know, Beatles cover band, you know, Murph and the Abbey Roads or something, just something horrible. So that's his life now. He's hanging around Jabba's court, and then he dies screaming like a bitch. So my beef with Boba Fett, as much as I always loved Boba Fett, is that, to me, this is where the EU truly takes shape and jumps the shark, because the thing that we could never live with was his demise. Mm-hmm. You know, we could see, you know, it's like, you know, like I guess kids sometimes have trouble coping with, you know, dads running out on them or dying, or your goldfish passing away, and people just say, you know, well, he ran away with another goldfish or something. But now it's like, it's okay if he dies. He's a bad guy. Yeah. But they couldn't let it go. So they just kept bringing him back and finding ways to bring him back, even after Lucas said, no, he's dead. And to put a fine point on it, in Return of the Jedi, when he's crawling out, chomp, suck back in. Yeah. It's over. But there's so many times he was brought back, and I think by having him brought back within that degree of canon is kind of what opened the door for, you can kind of get away with murder in the expanded universe. So that's
literally,
why
like you can kill a character, and it's all right, or bring him back from the dead. You know,
right.
Either way.
Kill Chewbacca, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or bring him back, whatever. So,
he found a crater in that moon, and he ducked just perfectly.
Yeah, it's like old serials. You know, you see everybody drive off a cliff and explode, and then next episode you're like, he steps out from behind a bush. I'm like, whew, thank God I got my hat still. Like,
yeah.
No, you were in the car.
And I think possibly the most vexing thing about Boba Fett as a character, though, is the fact that his first real interaction with any character on screen is with Darth Vader, who tells him, like, I want him alive. And then he turns to him and says, that means no disintegrations. To me, that means this guy is so fucking incompetent that he has to be reminded that disintegrations is also a form of fatality. You know, it's like, It's like, that's not capturing him alive. Like, I want him alive. Asshole, you. Yeah, you in the don't turn him to dust. Look at me. Look at me in the eyes. look at my mask. Don't turn him to dust. All right? What aren't you doing? That's right, turning him into dust. Good job, get out. You know, like, that's what it came across to as me. It's like, this guy's such a boob that he needs to be reminded what dead or alive means. So.
Or a total psycho, a trigger-happy psycho.
Yeah, exactly. So.
He's the guy that will blow up half a planet to get one dude. You know, that's what it sounded like.
And this is the guy that people like to idolize. I'm like, no. That's the problem that, like, when you read, like, the Republic Commando stuff, they start talking about the Mandalorians and all their honor and all that. Then you, like, look at, like, Boba Fett. He's a mercenary. He's a thug. He's not even a bounty hunter. He's an assassin. You know, it's like he's not that good. And that's one thing that when I was playing the Star Wars, the Old Republic, was when you play the bounty hunter. A lot of times you're just a fucking assassin. I'm like, this isn't a bounty hunter. This is an assassin. This is a mercenary. So.
Yeah, and in a way you can argue that because, okay, just playing into the prequel story, because he was separated from his father, and now he's out on his own surviving on the streets, you know, he didn't have that long with his dad. So you can't say that all of the traditions of Mandalore were passed on to this generation. The kid's on his own, and he's going to come across his own experiences and make up his own mind as to how to survive in the street. And maybe he's just not that good. It's happened.
That's true. And, you know, but even, like, to go to the moral part of it, Jango Fett was just as bad. Like, he tried to assassinate Amidala. Like, that's how we are introduced to him. He's not a bounty hunter. He's trying to assassinate, like, a 20-year-old girl. Good job, dude. Real challenging. That's honor. That's an honor-bound kill right there.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to do it without getting his hands dirty, which is even worse, because he's like, you know, if you can't do it right, you know, if it can't get done right, do it yourself. He should have just done it himself.
Yeah. He's
handing, like, not only is he handing it off to someone else to do, he's like, here are some, you know, intelligent insects.
Yeah, he's like, he all did it. He handed her all the pieces. And he's like, now don't fuck this up.
Yeah, but it's so far removed. It's like, all right, Carl, I'm going to send you a puppy, and I want that puppy to pee on a tree within 10 minutes of getting outside that box. It's imperative.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding? I can't rely on you or the puppy to get that done, realistically. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, enough about Boba Fett. I'm done with it. So done.
Well, and it also kind of ties into my last point, and it's not so much a specific book or a specific comic or a specific video game or character. It's basically just fan service in general. Going back to Star Wars: The Old Republic, there's something that really bothers me, especially doing like the bounty hunter storylines and anything else like that. Carbonite freezing is huge in that game, and it's huge in so many other video games and comic books. But you know, this is like hundreds of years before A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and at that point in the movie Empire Strikes Back, they make a big point saying like, "Oh, carbonite freezing, it's super dangerous. He might not survive." So
and they only use it for like freezing food and shit.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's used for storage of like, yeah, exactly, non-organic stuff. You know, like at least not living organic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it's like it's an unproven technology to use it in that fashion. Yet hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, it was a standard practice. You know, it's like you walk in and there's just walls covered with people in kryptonite, not kryptonite, but carbonite. You know, it's like that's silly. Like, you know, it's stuff like that, or the fact that they try to put in Han Solo and Chewbacca into every story. You know, it's like they don't need to be there on that big ship full of zombies. But since there's like, oh, well, you know, it's Star Wars, so we need one of the big characters in there. No, you don't. Mm-hmm. You really don't. It's just that fan pandering. You know, like, oh, you know, in this book, Jedi's are going to be super powerful because Jedi fans. You know, oh, the Mandalorians, they're going to have new armor now that deflects lightsabers. You know, because Mandalorian fans. You know, it's like
2 words: Savage Opress.
Yeah.
Horrible, horrible, horrible ripoff of Star Wars within Star Wars, just because the fans are upset that Darth Maul died. Yeah, it's terrible, but this is awful.
You know, and it's kind of like how they always feel the need to put like I've got a bad feeling about this. No, I understand. It's cool. It's a great throwback. But, you know, it's not something that has to be in every single episode. It doesn't have to be in every single comic. You know, it's like you can let that one go every once in a while. But you know, it's like there's just these like wink and nod things that like they always put it in there. You know, it's goofy. I don't know, and it's something that's always bothered me as far as Star Wars goes.
I completely agree. Actually, it was at the end of my notes about Boba Fett, and that's what has allowed so much to go unchecked in the EU, is because it went from, you know, once upon a time you couldn't get a lot done in Star Wars if you were an outsider or a writer, because Lucas had rules. You could write about Wookiees, but you couldn't write about their homeworld. You could write about this, but not about this. There were plans for sequels. So once the trilogy was done, and at that point Lucas was done with Star Wars. He had it. Fuck it. Made his money. I've started new ventures. I'm done. So now it's Wild Wild West. And what the fans want, let's take their money because they asked for it. Here you go.
Yeah.
Heartbreaker. Yeah, unchecked.
And that's the driving force of Star Wars now, is the wink and the nudge. The like, oh, you remember this guy? Well, you're going to love this guy. You know, or like, oh, have you had enough of Han and Chewie yet? Well, here you go. Like, here's Boba Fett on a water ski. So
yeah, it's an imitation of itself, and I think it grossly lessens all of it. It lessens the franchise. It lessens the integrity of each character that is based on another character, and it makes the original character look worse because they're no longer original, and they can't even be respected as that which has spawned these other things. It's like, well, that's cool, but this guy is basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cad Bane in the Clone Wars cartoon. When they did Boba Fett, the whole joke with Boba Fett, or like in the homage, was that he was supposed to be kind of like Clint Eastwood in the Man with No Name trilogy. And, you know, like, that was the whole thing. Like, he had kind of like the thing over his shoulder, supposed to be kind of like the poncho. You know, all this, like, stuff. And then you have Cad Bane come along, and rather than be, like, this subtle homage that, like, Boba Fett was, he's a complete and utter ripoff of these characters from those movies. You know, it's complete to the point that they're like, okay, let's give him a cowboy hat. Really?
Yeah, he's just a straight-up cowboy. The same thing when we talked about it in the Rebels episode. You just came out and called him a cowboy. Why don't you write it and let us decide, you know, what he is, you know?
Yeah. Or let him come out look like a cowboy, and then he's something else completely different. Let him be like a techno savant. That'd be surprising. That'd be interesting.
Sure. Yeah, it's not a gun in his holster. He hates weapons. Guess what?
Yeah.
He fucking hates guns. He's got a data pad. You don't need a droid. I got a data pad. It's gonna blow your mind.
Yep.
That's a show. That's a good show.
It'd be something different. I'd be happy with it.
Yeah. That'd be great.
You want to go ahead and put a fork in this? Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Let's put a fork in this today, and tomorrow, like we said, we are taking your Republicomms, so you can call us at 407-409-8749, 24 hours a day, and we will listen to it and play it on part 4 of most episodes.
And just be aware that we have moved to Sunday recording, so don't be caught off guard. If you get it on Monday, it's going to be too late. It's going to be on the next week's episode. So have it in Sunday afternoon at the very latest if you can help it, and we'll try to get it on the show when we record. So.
Yes, good point, good point. Same goes for emails, and that's voiceofrep@gmail.com, and you can send us text or MP3s. We'll take them. Same rules apply, 2 minutes, no licensed music, but feel free to use your own music or any voice you wish. Just get to the goddamn point, and we'll play it. Because we want to hear from you. We love you. Come on, look at you.
Most of you.
All right. Let's not blow too much smoke up your asses, but hey.
Let's be realistic. You're an asshole. Everyone else, they're cool. But you, asshole.
But that said, God damn it, we respect you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. All right, may the force
be with. Bye-bye.